Hey guys, so today we're going to be learning about integers and how to add and subtract them. So integers are every number you can think of that doesn't have a decimal or a fraction, okay? So it goes all the way from the most negative number you can think of all the way up to the largest number you can think of. But today we're going to be looking at numbers -5 through 5, okay? This is our number line. So before we go over adding and subtracting integers, we're going to have to learn about which integers are greater than others. If we look here, -5 is the least greatest integer on this number line, and 5 is the greatest. So if we write something down like -4, do you think that's going to be greater or less than 2? Well, 4 is further on the negative side, so it's going to be less. So we're going to want 2 as our greater number. Let's try -5 and -1. And which one do you think is greater? It's going to be -1. Even though 5 is the larger number, it's -5. So it's further to the left or further in the negatives, and -1 is further towards the positives. So it's going to be greater. So now we're going to look at adding negative integers, okay? So let's start with 1. Now we're going to add, so plus bracket -3. We're adding -3 to 1. And a good way to visualize this or to see it is take a look at our number line. So we're going to start at number 1 right here, and we're going to add -3. So it's kind of like minusing. We're going to -3. So we're going to move backwards 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So 1 plus -3 is going to be equal to -2. Let's try one more example of adding a negative integer. Let's do 4 plus -5. Okay, so for this one, we're going to start at 4. And we're going to move -5 positions. We're going to add -5, which is another way of saying take away. So we're going to start here at 4. We're going to move back, or we're going to take away 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we know our answer is going to be -1. Now, let's move on and let's try subtracting negative numbers. Let's start with a negative number. Let's start with -2, and let's take -4 from -2. Okay, so for this one, we're going to start at -2, and we're going to move back by -4. And what does that mean? To minus -4? Well, if we take away a takeaway, we're going to add. Okay, so these two negative signs actually make a positive. So we're going to move forward by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So -2 minus -4 will give us 2. Now, let's try 2 minus -1. Okay? So we're going to start at 2 and we're going to minus -1. Now remember, when you minus the negative, it's like adding. These two negative signs make a positive. So we start at 2 and we're going to move forward by 1. So it's basically 2 plus 1, which is equal to 3. So 2 minus -1 equals 3. Okay, so now we're going to go over a couple more practice questions and we'll see if you have a greater understanding. So first, we're going to look at -2 minus -1. Okay, so what that means is we're going to start at -2 and we're going to take away a negative. Now, do you remember what it means to take away a negative? It means to add. These two minus signs make a positive. So we're going to add 1. So -2 minus -1 is equal to 1. Now let's take a look at the next question. 4 plus negative 3. So we're going to start at 4, and we're going to add a negative. Now, when we add something that's negative, we're taking it away, okay? And we're taking away 3. 1, 2, 3. So 4 add negative 3 is going to equal 1. Now, let's take a look at the last question. 0 minus negative 3. Now, do you remember what happens when we have two minuses? When we minus a negative, it's going to be like addition. It's going to be plus 3 instead. So let's start at 0. And let's move forward by 3. 1, 2, 3. So 0 minus negative 3 is equal to 3. So let's recap what we learned today. Our negative numbers are actually less than our positive numbers. So negative 4 is less than 1. And 4 is greater than negative 2. We also learned that when we add a negative number, we move towards the negative side. And we also learned that when we minus a negative number, we move towards the positive side. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something today. Leave a like if you did, and leave a comment if you feel like it. Bye.